Hello and welcome back to Life of a Volleyball Player in a 6-2 rotation. Today we're going to be focusing on right side hitter, so life of a right side on the court in a 6-2. Remember, a 6-2 is where we have 3 hitters and 2 setters, so our setter's always playing back row. What's going to end up happening is when we rotate through on the court, our right side is going to come all the way back. She's rotating through on the court. And then when she gets to this position, okay, this is rotation 3, she's going to move to the back row. When she does that, your coach may say that you can serve, or she'll say the setter's serving, but either way, right side and setters, y'all are going to be subs, okay? So just some things to realize off the bat. All right, so we're just going to dive right in. We're going to go with rotation 1. So on rotation 1, we have setter in zone 1. We're moving up. We've got outside hitter in zone 2, middle hitter in zone 3, right side hitter in zone 4, DS in 5, and libero in 6. So our right side is always across from our setter. But are you in your base right now? No. Right? This is the outside space. So all the time we're going to think, I need to get all the way over here to my base. So in case you get lost on the court, worst comes to worst, remember, I always want to go to base. As soon as that ball goes over on the other side of the net, if I'm not in base, that's where I should go. Okay? So we're going to just go into serve, what it looks like in serve. So starting off, we're front row. Right side's always going to be front row. So we don't really have a lot to memorize. We're going to pull our setter back serving. We're going to pretty much ignore our back row. And then we're going to set up the front row. So we've got right side over here. We've got our middle and our outside. I'm just going to abbreviate a little bit here even more. So this is serve. Now, some coaches have specific ways that you set up for defense at the net. Follow whatever your coach is saying, okay? For my team, I know right now what we're doing is we're kind of stacking a little bit. So all of my hitters should be about an arm's length away from each other, maybe a little bit less. And they should be pretty much stacked in the middle of the court. They're blocking the other team's view of our server. So as soon as that ball is served, my right side's going to come all the way over here, and she's going to go to her base. And then we're just going to go from there. So pass that hit, ball goes over, keep playing it out, etc. Once that ball dies, remember, we still have to go back to our rotation base. Okay, we have to go back to that rotation for the beginning of every single play. So just remember, we're kind of doing a back and forth motion. We're going to start here, then we're going to move over to our base once the ball's in play. So that's serve. Now, serve-receive always is a little bit more complicated, so let's clear the court here. We're going to go into serve-receive, so let's see how to phrase this. All right, we're going to ignore the back row. That's pretty much as we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to ignore the back row. We don't need to worry about them. They're doing their own shenanigans over here, okay? The thing I want you to focus on is that middle hitter starts, and our right side is over here. Okay, so in serve receive, I want everyone to start in wherever their rotation is front row. So you're going to stay where you are in outside space, and when they serve the ball over, we're going to pass that hit. You're going to play outside for one rally. Once that ball goes back over the net, that's when you can sprint across the net to your own base, okay? We want to go in the easiest way to not run into our middle. That's the key here. We don't want to cause a crash. So if you talk to your middle ahead of time, become close friends with your middle, talk about if you're going to be sprinting in front of her, close to the net, or behind her. We don't want to cause an accident. But that's pretty much serve receive for rotation 1. Key here is just you play outside for one rally, and as soon as that ball goes back over the net, you sprint to your base. Now we're going to go on to rotation 2. So rotation 2 is a little bit different. Now, as you can see, we are closer to our base, so that's super nice. I'm not really going to draw out our serve that much. I'm just going to draw an arrow on this because we're ignoring the back row anyway, so it doesn't matter what they're doing. We're going to focus on, again, being close to the net. We want to kind of bunch up in the center. And our right side, as soon as DS serves that ball over, we're going to sprint to our base. And it's a lot closer, so it's a lot easier. Super nice. So that's pretty much all you need to know for serve. Now, this serve receive is a little bit more difficult than the last serve receive. There's a little bit more involved. So what's going to happen is our outside is going to pull back to the back row. Our libero is going to pull over, and our DS is going to pull over. Again, we're ignoring the back row. We don't really care what they're doing. The key person here is our setter. So for every position, we should be aware of what our setter is doing at all times. So our setter is pulling up from the back row to this little 10-foot area. And what you're going to do as right side is you're going to pull up to the net right here. And your middle is going to pull back over here. So you're causing a sort of triangle. That's what we're kind of creating. Okay? Once that ball is served, you immediately sprint to your spot, and the middle is going to sprint to their spot, and the setter is going to go to her spot. So that was a lot of arrows, so I'm going to draw it a little bit cleaner, and we'll do it again. All right, so we've got back row, which we're ignoring. We've got our setter. We've got our middle, who's pulling all the way into the corner. We've got us, okay, at the right side. So again, we're going to cause a triangle. We're going to create a triangle, and we're all going to rotate to the position we need to get to. When we are doing this rotation, right side, I want you going outside of the court to get into your transition, to get into your base back here at the 10-foot line, your transition, at the 10-foot line so that you can approach, get around that ball, and then go back to our base up at the net. All right, so that's rotation 2. Now we're going to rotate one more time, and this is super easy, okay? We're already in our base, so we don't really need to worry about what's going on with everyone else because we're already there. The biggest thing that I want to focus on here is I kind of want to go into a little bit of what a right side should be doing at what time in the play. So in serve, we're still doing whatever your coach is telling you to do. So again, on my team, all of my players are bunched up at the net. We are kind of blocking the view of our server back here, who in this case might be libero or middle. And then as soon as that ball is served, you kind of stay in your base at the net. You want to have your hands up, ready to go, blocking position at the net. And then once that ball comes over, you block if you're blocking, or you cover if you're covering. And then we're going to work on transitions. So right side is what I'm going to focus on, obviously, because that's what this video is about. So right side, this is our base at the net. Okay, we can also kind of move back and forth along the net over here, but that's our general area we need to be in. Now, when we transition, we should be doing our transition footwork back to this line. Depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed, that determines if you are in the court or outside of the court, but those are some things that you can talk to with your own coach. Okay, but we're moving on this diagonal back and forth from the net, just like that. Okay, so we block, we come back, we're ready to hit, we approach, we're back at the net. Remember, worst comes to worst, don't know what's happening on the court, always go to base. So that's pretty much everything for right side. If there's anything you have a question on or think that I've left out, please let me know. I am here to help. See y'all later.